Hey guys, what's up? And welcome to this PHP and MySQL video series. In this tutorial, we're going to look about switch statements in PHP programming language. Fine. So, switch statements are basically the multiple statements which are used to handle multiple conditions, out of which only just one condition is going to be executed. So, uh, in this tutorial, I am going to demonstrate this with the help of a drop-down list in an HTML form. So, let's get started, and before proceeding on with this tutorial, anyone who is not having knowledge about HTML stuff, then I will recommend him or her to have a brief knowledge about HTML stuff and then go ahead and watch this tutorial. Okay, so let's get started. Basically, first I will build a HTML form. Let me show you the output first. So I have this output over here. Okay, so I have this fruits column and vegetable column. So I'm going to select this fruits and I'm going to submit it, and it says that you have selected fruits option. Fine. So this is how the output is presented to the user in the form of a HTML page. Fine. So let's get started, and I will just write HTML tags over here, and basically I will just save this with fifth one.php for my reference, and I'm just going to start off an HTML tag, and spelling mistakes, pretty bad, body. And next I'm going to do is I will write out the form tag, in which I'm going to specify the method attribute, which is either get or post, right? So over here I'm going to make a simple drop down menu, okay, with a select tag, and I'm just going to give it a name of let it be SEL1. Fine. These names are very important in HTML tags when you want to retrieve the value from a particular option or particular text box. So I will just give value to this option as FRU, that stands for fruits, and I will just close this option over here. Fine, and I'm just going to write over here as fruits. Fine. And similarly I will just go ahead and copy paste this stuff so that it is very much easier for me, so that I don't have to write the code again. I'm a bit of lazy these days, so I'm just going to name this as veg and vegetables. So pretty much clear, and I'm just going to write out the submit button. Input type equals submit, input type equals submit, and name equals submit, and just okay, that's enough. Fine. So we have built a very basic form over here of a HTML, and what I'm going to do now is I will write my PHP stuff, and inside it I will write my switch statement ka code. Fine. So my basic first step is to check out whether this submit button has been submitted or not, because in order to submit the form, in order to pass the data from the form, we need to have this submit button to be pressed. Okay, so what I'm going to do is first I will check out that if is set, that is that submit button or any other kind of variable is set or not. Okay, so I will just say that submit is set or not. If is set, so get of submit. So in order to retrieve the value from any form, we have to specify their method. So over here the method is get, and $_get is a global variable. So it is a global variable available in PHP, and there are many more global variable available, such as $_post, $_session, and $_cookie, and etc. So we will look all these global variables further in our tutorials, But for now, because we are having the method get over here, we will just look into dollar underscore get global variable. Okay, so it contains dollar underscore get of submit, right? So it reference this is the name attribute of the input type submit. So from this, so if I would have modified this as submit to, then I would have written here as submit to, because in order to get a value, in order to grab the value from any form, I have to reference it by its name. So by the name of the submit button is submit to over here, or we can say submit. So you guys will be confused by this submit and this submit, so I just wrote submit to over here so that it is very much clear, so you can differentiate easily between type and name over here. Fine. So once I have checked out, so if condition will check out whether it returns me either true or false. Okay, so if it returns me true, then the next code is going to be executed, and we are going to write as switch. And then the basic structure of switch is that it will contain it is going to have a set of values in it, and from that values switch is going to check out which is a proper value that matches the case condition, which are the set of values which are matching the case conditions. Okay, so the switch is combination of case statements and a default statement. Okay, so switch of dollar underscore get of SEL1. Okay, so what it does is the dollar underscore get of SEL1, this is SEL1, so it has it has two option button in it, and I'm just sorry that I wrote input submit in the select option. I have to write it outside of it, yeah, this way. Okay, fine. So this switch of dollar underscore get of SEL1, what it's going to do is that it will search for the name which is having SEL1. So it will find SEL1 and then it will grab a value. So select is basically a drop down in a HTML form. Okay, and it is going to have value as FRU and WEG. So anything that is having a predefined value is contained in a value attribute in an HTML form. So anything that has predefined value is contained in a value attribute in a HTML form. Okay, so option value equal to FRU, option value equal to wedge. So this dollar underscore get of SEL1 is going to have value either FRU or WEG. Whatever, it depends on whatever we select at that time. So with this we can get the value of either FRU or of dollar WEG or VEG, sorry. And then we are going to just write down the case statements over here. So switch contains case and C is capital, and it will turn out into blue, so that it indicates that you have no syntax error now. And the case of FRU, so FRU is a string, so I will put it in single quote. So case FRU, right? So because we are getting the value as a FRU or WEG, this is not the value that we are getting from it. These are for our reference. We are getting the value either FRU or WEG, sorry, VEG, right? Hope it is clear to you. So I'm just going to echo it out. Echo you selected the fruits, and with case there is always a break statement, so that it does not execute multiple conditions. Okay, so after executing this case into it just now, and now we just applying the break statement over here, over there, and we write you have selected the vegetables. Fine, and again break. Fine, and the next is the default case, which is going to be executed when both these conditions are not satisfied. So if you don't write default condition, then the user will be presented with no output even whenever with the condition in the switch statement are not satisfied. So I will just write echo invalid submission or anything. Okay, so let's just execute it. I hope there are no errors over here. And fifth one.php, yeah, so there are no errors, and let's see if it works or not. So I'm selecting the fruits over here, and I just click submit, and it says that you selected the fruits. So we have successfully run this program, very small program. I hope you get it. Again, there's a brief, I will just explain you briefly again that the value that we're getting from SEL1 is FRU or wedge. Okay, so we are getting value either from this both. Okay, and if you don't get value from this boot, then it will give us a value as invalid submission, which is not never going to be executed, because once we hit submit button, okay, it is going to have some kind of value, but it is possible that it will have a null value only. Let's say, okay, let's I will give you the example on that and that stuff as well. For example, we have some kind of value over here, and I just leave it to blank over here, and I will write again fruit as well. Okay, now this is the fruits 1 and this is the fruits 2. For example, for just our reference, now we will just refresh it out, and let's say it's fruits 1, fruits 2 and vegetables. So let's select fruits 1 and we will get submit. So it gives a value invalid submission. Why? Because this fruits 1 does not have any kind of value in it. So this $_get of SEL1, which is the container of this 3 option tags, okay, is going to have value either FRE or VEA or wedge. Okay, so if we wanted to write the value of this stuff as well, we could have again write down the case statement as case of single quotes, just single quotes. Okay, so it will just understand it and interpret it as a value which you are getting from the SEL1 attribute of the select tag. Fine. So I hope this is clear to you, and let's not work out with the let's work out with the break statement over here. Let's check what happens if we don't apply break statements. Okay, look, it says that you selected the fruits, you have selected the vegetables, and invalid submission. So it goes and executing one by one. Okay, so it is getting the value continuously. So whatever we get the value, we are going to apply the, so whatever we are going to get the value first, that is going to be printed. So I just printed fruits 1. So if I go in vegetables, then I will just get you have selected the vegetables and invalid submission, because I got the value as veg, so it does not fulfill this condition, and I haven't applied break after this statement. So whatever the statements are after this statement are going to be executed. Okay, so only default statement is next after the case of veg, and in this case it is going to be executed because I simply selected the vegetables over here. Fine. So and when I selected the fruits 1, it gave me all of the 3 conditions, all of the 3, yeah, 3 conditions value, that you have selected the fruits, you have selected the vegetables, and invalid submission, etc. Fine. So break is of very much importance in switch statement. So now when I'm going to just select the fruits 2 over here, it will give me select the fruits, and it just breaks the case statement and it will go out of the switch statement. Fine. So I hope this tutorial was very much clear to you. If you still have any doubts, anything, then please comment it out on YouTube, and please like my tutorial and subscribe to my YouTube channel and share with your friends. Thank you.